Hello, and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, French Research Institute says herdsmen, armed bandits, and Boko Haram killed 10,665 persons in 2018 as insurgents overrun Gijiram town in Borno State. GBAJABIAMILA meets OSINBAJO, promises cooperation with the executive. And later on the show, President Buhari approves 208 billion naira for public universities. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and OLAYINKA OYEGBILE. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Many thanks for joining us. Over the years, Nigeria has witnessed wanton destruction of lives and property occasioned by the festering insecurity in the land. But the grave impact can best be felt when it's put in perspective. In 2018 alone, just take this, 2018 alone, 10,665 people, according to the French Institute for Research in Africa, died as a result of herdsmen clashes, banditry, Boko Haram insurgency, cultism, and other violence across the country. The report mentioned Borno, Zamfara, Benue, Kaduna, and Adamawa states as most dangerous in the country. The figure, which is 1.4% higher than 2017 fatality, may not be going down yet with renewed hostilities by armed bandits. Just on Monday, Boko Haram fighters attacked Gijiram town in Borno State. The casualty figure in the attack is still foggy, following fierce exchange of gunfire with soldiers and members of the civilian JTF, so they call them Civilian Joint Task Force. Gentlemen, Babajide, yesterday we started this series on the activities of the insurgents in the northeast and northwest and the insecurity across Nigeria. And today we're still putting figure to this. Now, we don't know how accurate all these figures are, but one thing is very sure is that people are dying every day in Nigeria. If for 2018 alone, 10,665 people were recorded, they recorded, as the death rate for 2018. Now we're in 2019. The mid-2019, if they are computing the figure from January to June, and even by the time it's December and we don't halt this tide, your guess is as good as mine.
No, definitely it will keep going up if we don't do something quickly. Because 136 Nigerians killed in just about 48 hours.
48 hours?
Yes, it's terrible.
In the last 48 hours?
No, a period, within a period of last week, within a period of 48 hours last week, about 70 in Niger alone, 34 in Zamfara, around 34 again in Borno, because the first figure we got was like 12. Later it moved to 32 and then 33. So it keeps climbing because many people were injured and we don't have enough trauma centers where they could be quickly attended to. Some of them died from their from lack of attention, after having been killed. So last week was a terrible week for us as a people. And then when you now also consider the rate at which Boko Haram, especially the Mama Nur faction, is attacking soldiers, army fatalities would definitely go up this year, because almost at least within a space of 2 days, they must attack an army base. It is that bad now. I was discussing with a top politician, and I said, see, before now, in Borno State, Boko Haram was not even attacking headquarters of local governments. So we knew that they had control of the hinterland, but headquarters, they were barely going to headquarters of local government because they knew that those headquarters had soldiers guiding them and the rest. But what are we seeing in the last 2 weeks? They've been attacking headquarters of local government and chasing soldiers away. So what happened in Dikwa? We've seen them go to Ganze. Ganze is the local government of is the Gajiram that they went to yesterday. They got to Gajiram around 5:30 yesterday. Gajiram is the headquarters of Ganze local government. And Ganze and that Gajiram is the hometown of Babagana Kingibe. You know, I said it, I was mentioning some politicians that dare not go to their hometowns. And I'm not saying it because I just want to, for the fun of it. I'm saying it because I have proof that they can't go. And I'm repeating it, that Guzamala local government, that is the local government of the Speaker of Borno State House of Assembly. He dares not go to his hometown. I'm repeating it again, so that people don't give you the feeling that, oh, everywhere is safe. The place they went to yesterday is the hometown of Babagana Kingibe, one of the most famous members of the cabal. You know, they tell us that cabal doesn't exist. Well, some of us refuse to agree. It exists. And Kingibe, in the presidency, and Kingibe is a famous member, a very powerful member. It's his hometown that they went to yesterday, chased soldiers away, looted weapons.
That's a military base, an army.
Yes. Is anybody going to deny it when there's proof? You see, we have gone past that era. What I will not come and tell you, oh, they killed so many people. Even if I know the figure, I will not tell you. But to say they didn't attack, no, they attacked. 17:30 hours. That was when they came with 12 gun trucks. 12 gun trucks.
And they came by road.
How would they? Why would they come by air?
I don't understand, because we know we have air power, we have surveillance, and these people would have passed a particular route.
When we ask for more weapons for the military, people think we don't know what we are doing. We don't have enough weapons to combat this kind of insurgency. Because when you even talk about the Air Force is limited. As you talk about the army being overstretched, the Air Force is overstretched. They are using their bombers and their attack helicopters in Zamfara, in Katsina. And you have the Northeast. So we have all kinds of problems. Buy weapons. Buy weapons. I'm not talking of small firearms that the army was boasting about the other day. We are talking about game changers. Buy more MRAPs. Because with the MRAP, you can step over IEDs and it will not affect. Even that T-72, IED can barely do any damage to it. Those are the kind of weapons that I want.
But we've always said it on this program that it takes time.
It takes time, but because it took time, Jonathan had to go and buy from the black market in Ukraine. We got it through Ukraine. The other one that he tried to do through South Africa, some Olofofos, they leaked the information. And at the end of the day, the South African president was called to not allow that transaction to happen. This is what happened to us. Some of the sabotage that the former president of America caused to happen. Because President Zuma knew that we were coming to buy those weapons. He knew. But he was prevailed upon to not let it happen. And we were told that, oh, it is some people were coming for money laundering, that Nigerians populated the aircraft. When it was investigated, only one Nigerian was on board. The crewmen were from Israel. And everyone knows that when you want to do such transactions, you see us, the thing is, we can't do government to government, or G to G as they call it, for weapons at this stage. Desperate situations demand desperate measures. Go and get weapons wherever you can buy it. It will give us the edge. Today, go on any military, if you read military literature, you will see that Chad today is one of the strongest military powers in Africa. And it was because they continued, with the support of France, they continued to arm them. It's not the same child of many years ago.
Okay, let me bring Yinka in now. Yinka, in the midst of this now, we are looking at even to cut the supply, cut the recruitment, and you hear that they've apprehended one commander here, they've killed the bandits here, but you discover that the recruiting system, I don't know the number of people, you know, that are involved in kidnapping now, but I can tell you that it's a thriving trade. If there's anything like that. In Boko Haram recruitment too, I don't know how to get there. I mean, it's like an industry. They are there because they will say unemployment, they will say poverty, so many things. They are getting a lot of followers.
You know, just to add to what Babajide has said, you remember the Chad we are talking about now is not the Chad of 1983-84.
No.
When then General Buhari was the GOC in Plateau.
Third division.
And he overran Chad when they came to Nigeria. We remember that story. Now, the issue now is...
Nobody can do that now.
Nobody can do that
now.
Because we don't have what it takes. What remains now is, how did we fall to this level? Why? It is politics. And the French Institute that said that 10,665 people died in 2018, we will take it as our own figure. But I want to assure you, as much as we may not want to rely on it, because every figure has its own reason. One, we are a country that don't have adequate record of births, deaths, and all that. For instance, most of these areas where this violence takes place are in the north. And of course, we all know that as Muslims, when somebody dies, they say, oh, Allah neyakao, God has brought it. They go and bury it.
Yes.
They hardly go to the local government or whatever to collect death certificate. So you will not be able to know that 10 people were killed, 5 people were killed, 20 people were killed. So you only go by estimation that, okay, oh, we didn't see this guy, we didn't see that guy, what has happened? Now, what we need to do, as has been emphasized here several times, is that we must buy more weapons and train our military men. Because don't let us assume, or don't let us do the typical Nigerian thing. You know, if there is a problem, we throw money there. How that money is spent, we don't know. But money must be thrown there, and they must be monitored. What is happening to all the weapons that we are buying? Are we buying the cut-edge weapons, or we are just buying scrap? I mean, it is not a case of going on the market and go and buy a 2015 weapon in 2019. And you know that almost every year or every two years, they make they improve on this. So what we need to know is, how do we equip our people, and how do we make this very well? And the issue of recruitment. The recruitment, either into the military or into every of our security agencies, must also be upped up. We must bring it up. Those days of just writing exams and doing this are all over. Most wars now are fought technologically. And we must equip our military men technologically, and the people we recruit and the people who are training them, they must also up their games. If we don't up the games, then we are not going to be anywhere to be found. That is the issue now. Okay.
Yinka just took a cue from where you stopped, Babajide. I asked him vital questions. Supplies. These people, we still have recruitment. We still have our people. Before, we used to, okay, they are with some foreigners, are part of them. But we won't shy away from the idea that those bandits, some of them are Nigerians. Boko Haram members are Nigerians, and they keep recruiting our people. And as our soldiers are, every other time apprehending these people, they have a system of recruitment.
Yes, it's something that has been difficult for us to stop, because the control of the hinterland that they have gives them access to people. And they make all kinds of promises to those people. Like when they invaded Baga, for example, they told the people, we are not here to kill you. You know that the other group, the most violent faction now, the Mama and No faction, they don't kill civilians. It's soldiers and policemen that they're after. So they told them, look, we are not going to kill you, we'll let you do your business. All they are trying to do is to give the impression that they can make life better for people than even the government. They are positioning themselves. Yes, you know all of those areas, you and I know. You know, they are trying to position themselves as alternatives to the government. So, and in their rhetorics, in addressing the people, this is what they say all the time.
They win their hearts.
So that way they win hearts. Remember also that I talked about them offering loans to people in the Madagali area. When I first said that, many people thought Jide had come again. But the army confirmed it some weeks later, that these guys were offering loans to people. Yeah. And when they find it difficult to pay back, they are conscripted to come and fight on their side. That area up to today, that Madagali area, is not safe up to today. In that local government, they only conducted election in 3 towns. Yes, this last election. There are so many things happening that will show to you clearly that we are still in a mess. Whether we admit it or not, this is the situation. Meaning that killing people amounts to nothing. Yazama bakomeba kashimutum. That's the way people see it now.
That has become so
because, look, Cameroon, Boko Haram slaughtered 17 Cameroonian soldiers. It became a day of mourning in Cameroon. I can show you links, Cameroonian newspapers. A day of mourning because 17 soldiers died. So you see a clear difference for us now. 17 soldiers dying in battle. 17 civilians or even 50 civilians dying.
We've heard about...
Or 80 civilians dying. Yeah. It's fast becoming no news to us anymore. And that is the dangerous part. That is the dangerous part that I want the president to address this thing. Because I know it's possible for him. The president will be slow at taking decisive actions. But in his second term, he has to change.
Yeah.
In the end, we saw that he took action in Benue. Those killings have stopped.
Yeah.
If you look at Benue, they recorded 532 pastoral conflicts and leading to death in 2018. You know that the killing of about 100 people in January, that New Year's Eve, must have accounted so much for this. But there was a time in Benue that almost every day you hear people being killed.
Yes.
But in the end, the problem was addressed. Yes. To the point that even when Buhari went to Benue to campaign, the governor, despite being a different party, he admitted, he thanked him that you solved this problem. And that is the way. Benue is no longer in the news for killings.
No.
So the president can address this problem. He can solve this problem. He's the commander-in-chief. All he needs to do is to give people the riot act and let people see that if they fail to do what he has told them to do, that heads will roll. Yeah. Honestly, when he begins to do that and stop giving his service chiefs and other people unnecessarily long rope, honestly, we'll start seeing changes. The president doesn't do that. It takes his time. Maybe because he's a soldier, this is a form of solidarity. No, we don't need any form of solidarity in this matter. Lives are being lost. Deal decisively with the problem. If you can't deal with the problem, I kick you out. Yes. Let the president send that message to the people who are in charge of security in Nigeria. Let us see whether there won't be solution.
I have my first caller from KANO, MUKHTAR.
Yeah.
MUKHTAR from KANO. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Let me salute Mr. Jide. Mr. Jide, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
I salute you for your presentation. Let me first of all say that Mr. President should wake up and be serious as far as security issues are concerned. Most Nigerians, innocent ones, are losing their lives. And we cannot continue to go on this trend.
No.
Something must be done. We voted this government to solve our problem. But neither the security issue nor the economic issues are being solved. So where are we heading to? Please, Mr. President should wake up and address these issues. Otherwise, Nigeria will go down. I'm sorry for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MUKHTAR
from KANO. And Inga, if we the urgency, looking at the urgency and looking at the spread, we highlighted some states. We highlighted Borno, Zamfara, Benue, Kaduna, and Adamawa State. Yes. But unfortunately, the graph is
I think both,
spreading.
Let me just add, in terms of the figures that the French people came up with, and the statistics that the IG came up with yesterday, it is clear that when it comes to kidnapping, Kaduna is number one.
Kidnapping?
Yes, if we check their record. Yes, their record for 2018, those French people, they placed Kaduna ahead of everyone for kidnapping. And the IG's figures show that out of 424 persons arrested for kidnapping, Kaduna alone accounted for 101. So, and I know that it's down to that road, that Abuja Kaduna highway.
So you can looking at the spread now. It's spreading fast. Yesterday we were talking about Niger State.
We only talk about Niger State. It is spreading nationwide. There is a lot of insecurity nationwide. And unfortunately, most of this insecurity are now being looked at as an ethnic thing. That is the most troubling aspect of it. Because when you look at the level of the insecurity that we are having, people are already saying that it is some particular ethnic group that are involved in kidnapping. It is a particular ethnic group that is this, and one ethnic group is saying we are going to defend our people and all that. But that is not the issue. The issue is, it is clearly a case of insecurity, and it is a case that must be addressed frontally. It is not a case of looking at wherever the criminals come from, or that they are attacking a particular ethnic group. That is not, it is not. It is a national security issue. Perhaps what is responsible for the shift of region has to do with, okay, we know that in the north, people have already known that kidnapping is, the security agencies are focusing on it. Okay, let us move down to the south or to the east, where they are not focusing on it, and then we do it. That is exactly what is happening. And we must address this very well. I remember that around the year 2010 or in the 2000s, this issue of kidnapping for ransom started in the Niger Delta, especially foreign oil workers. Those were the people that were mostly being kidnapped then, foreign oil workers.
Yes.
But after some time, it spread out of the foreign workers, it spread to Nigerians, either you are an oil worker or a government official and so on. So now, what needs to be done is for security to be beefed up across the country. We are not interested in saying that, no, it is some Fulani herdsmen, it is some this, and that. Kidnapping is going on everywhere.
So that's one, as we're wrapping up now,
yes,
that's one angle that I've been seeing press releases from the Are on Okakan Foreign Council, you know, talking about they are going to resist them in Yoruba land. They are going to defend.
Identified where.
Yes, the areas, and they are going to defend their territories, that people should not come and encroach and everything. Now, do you think, owning this, looking at it from that perspective, do you think this is the issue here, or it's a matter of urgent national security?
The people like Ghanaian would not have said anything if the security agencies had risen to the occasion of protecting the Nigerian people. There's no doubt about it, even from police parade of kidnapped suspects. You will see the preponderance of a particular ethnic group. And what I keep saying...
Sometimes they might not be Nigerians.
They are not. What I keep saying, for those who are saying, oh, this thing, don't talk about these people, why are you saying this? Don't ethnicize conflict. I went to see victims of banditry and kidnapping from Zamfara. And they told me that the people coming to harass them are Barai Hilani. That is, Hilani is the corrupt version of pronouncing Fulani. And they are saying these are rogue Fulanis. So we also have to be careful. And those guys are not Nigerians. They are not Nigerian Fulanis. Because the way they describe them, they say their hair can be long, almost to their buttocks. Our Fulanis are not like that. So you know that it's foreigners who are coming to kill Nigerians in Zamfara, coming to Nigerians, coming from Mauritania, other places, to kill us, and then some of our own people are defending these criminals.
The criminals, yeah.
No, we will not accept that. People must stand up to condemn foreigners who are coming to kill our people. I have videos of people, victims, saying it with their own mouth, that these are the people who are killing us. So people can't be in the Southwest and other places who have not interacted with victims and be saying, no, these are the people who are doing it. We are saying that majority of the people causing this problem are not even Nigerians. When the president went to, let me quickly add this, when the president went to Mambila, they told him that some of these people coming to kill our people are not Nigerians. So it is even wrong to blame to see the average Nigerian Fulani as the aggressors, because they too are victims. So we must know those who are really behind it and ask people concerned to serve justice on these people.
All right, still to come. GBAJABIAMILA meets with OSINBAJO, promises cooperation with the executive. We'll be right back after this time out. It's still Journalist Hangout. Stay with us. If you're just joining us, you're right on time. Journalist Hangout, your favorite program. The principle of separation of power precludes domination of one arm of government over the other, but it gives room for cooperation and interdependence for smooth running of government. The rumble and the tumble relationship between the 8th National Assembly and the executive arm may not rear its ugly head in this current dispensation. The new Speaker of the House of Representatives, MUKHTAR, who met behind closed doors with the Vice President, OSINBAJO, at the Presidential Villa Abuja, promised a robust collaboration between the executive and the legislature to make life better for Nigerians. The Speaker also said that opposition lawmakers will be carried along in committee membership and leadership of the House. The congratulatory message of Abubakar Bukola Saraki to GBAJABIAMILA and Mr. Lawal, Senator Lawal, Ahmed Lawal. And when I read through it, he still said it, that congratulations, guys, but as we are passing on the torch, we expect you to keep that tenet of separation of powers. We expect you to keep that independence of the legislature, that this is what we fought for in the first the role of 4 years. And we were able to put our feet on the ground and everything. Now, interdependence and separation of powers. Now, Saraki was telling these people that, look, you should not say because you are from the same party that everything must be rubber stamp. And a lot of Nigerians will see that the federal government did not make progress, or the country, because of the feud between the legislature and the executive, the country did not make progress in that time. So what are we looking at here? Is Lawal and MUKHTAR going to be an extension of the executive that when Mr. President needs anything, oh guys, pass this thing for me, I need it ASAP?
No, I don't expect that to happen. If that were to happen, then they will have shown themselves to be unworthy lawmakers. Because even in the U.S., the fact that you have overwhelming control of any of the chambers is no guarantee that your actions or your methods will not be resisted. No. As you have seen, even some Republicans are sometimes at the forefront
of the battle
of opposition to some of Trump's moves. Yeah. And it happened like that even during Obama. Some of his staunchest opponents were Democrats. Remember Senator Bob McCain was always opposing President George W. Bush.
Yes.
You know? So it's about knowing what you are there to do. You are the representatives of the people. If the government were to make a move that is anti-people, your duty is to ensure that that doesn't go through. You can't turn yourself towards some of the houses of assembly in Nigeria, or most of the houses of assembly have turned themselves to. They are firmly in the pockets of governors. Governors pick speakers. Remember one famous governor, famous for his cap, who even before he had even chosen who will become speaker.
Before the election.
Before the election, he had nominated who will become speaker. Meanwhile, that decision ought to be taken by members themselves.
He has distributed the...
But you know the way Nigerian governors are, I describe them as goalkeepers. Because this is the way they position themselves. They want to grab everything, grabbable. Even powers meant for the other arms of government, they want to grab. Like the governor took it upon himself to dole out money to judiciary against the letters of the Constitution. You know? So the thing is, the point is, the legislature must know what the Constitution mandates it to do. It is to serve as a check on the executive, not to put yourself in the pocket of the executive. If you decide to do that, then you are not patriotic. But you are not also to be adversarial. By being adversarial, you then see yourself as enemy of the executive, out to condemn anything that the executive is doing. If you look at what happened the last time, any move that the president made, the first set of people that will go against that move will be the APC members in the Senate.
Yes.
So this time around, we are not expecting that. We expect them to work together. Before a bill is passed, if the president has an interest, he ought to reach out, even at the level of caucus of his party.
Lobby them.
Gentlemen, this is what we want to do. These are the merits. Lobby in this case, no one is saying go and give them money. No. But reach out to them. Let it be clear to them that this is your goal. When they see clearly that you have something good for the people, they are going to support you. What we had during Abubakar Bukola Saraki's time was a situation in which more than 40 bills were passed, and the president refused to give assent. So both of them are culpable.
That means the time wasted,
a lot of time,
everything wasted.
Let me explain some things that happen that many Nigerians don't know. If a minister, for example, if they do a public hearing on a bill,
yes,
and a minister lost out in the course of the argument and all that, and the bill says through.
The minister
the president, having looked at the bill, his attitude is to pass it to
the minister.
The minister having failed.
The public hearing.
Yes, we now use the opportunity to say, Mr. President, let's not do this.
Put his own opinion.
That's why some of those bills, there were some good bills. There were some good bills that ought to have been passed into law that were not passed. For example, the PIGB. For about 40 years, we had been on this thing, and we saw an opportunity to pass it. For about 14 years. But what happened? It still didn't get passed into law. So I expect that things will change this time around. Let them meet, let them have greater synergy, you know, so that this sort of things won't be happening. The president and the legislature must communicate. I expect, for example, that as we are talking about the need to prune down the number of political parties,
by now,
I expect them to work together.
Yes.
If those parties, if they do not have offices in at least 2/3 of the states in our country and put officials in those offices in at least 2/3 of the states in Nigeria, they should not, yes, they should not be registered. They should not be registered. But as I said, they must come together. They must work together to hammer out this any disagreement.
You know, what the speaker spoke about, cooperation, is very, very good and is setting a good pace. But we have to sound a note of warning that cooperation should not be subservient, because the way the legislature related with the executive 2015 to 2019, people, of course, many of us were not happy with it. It has its own merits and demerits. And both sides are guilty. Because the executive should not see itself as being there to checkmate the the legislature. The legislature itself should not see itself that its oversight function extends up to the executive level. So there must be caucus meeting. I mean, when you have a bill or you send name of ministers or whatever to the legislature, it happens everywhere in the world. As we said, lobbying. Don't let us give a bad name to the word lobbying. Lobbying does not mean... Exactly. The president can call the leadership of the House that, okay, let's have breakfast together. Or let's have lunch together. Let's have dinner together. It is over that lunch or breakfast or dinner or whatever that they will talk about it. That, oh no, okay, Mr. President, this that you are requesting for, we will have to scale it down, or you have to bring so thing in. The president will look at it, and then they will judge you. But it's not a case of, if I don't have my way, then it won't happen. As Babajide has pointed out, some of these bills that were not passed, some of them, the ministers in those ministries were the obstacle. Because the ministers are the first line of action to the president when bills come. Because as it happens, all these things happen according to delegated authorities. The president will not sit down to read the bill from A to Z. The president will take, his lieutenant will look at it and then pass it on to the minister. The minister is just like what we have in the newsroom. It's not when a newspaper comes out, it's not every story,
not every page
that the editor will sit down and read and edit everything. So that is the same thing that happens. The people must brief the president very well, and actions must be taken to make sure that all those years, all those long hours of sitting, deliberating over bills don't get wasted. There's no bill or there's no law in the world that is 100% perfect. If any bill is passed and is assented to, some years or months down the line when you begin to operate it, if you discover lapses, you can amend it, and nobody will blame you for it. Because if everything are to be perfect, we will not be called human beings. The reason why we are called human beings is because we are not perfect. So the legislature and the executive this time around must sit together, but not to give us a rubber stamp National Assembly. So that, as we have always been saying, there are some states, anything the president, anything the governor says, it goes. Whatever the governor says is the law. Oh. It shouldn't be
governors
like
are the ones choosing speakers.
Exactly, you know? So it shouldn't be like that at the federal level.
So ultimately, those bills that we talked about in the 8th Assembly now, are we now saying some of them for political reasons, the baby and the bathwater might have been thrown away?
Yes. You know, the thing is, it's always painful when I see those things happen in my country. I remember in 2006, the height of the Obasanjo attempt to get for himself a third term.
Yeah.
We planned something around rotatory presidency.
Yes.
And then, as part of it, power was meant to be rotated among all the three senatorial zones in every state.
Exactly, yes.
In every state.
Yes.
Which will have banished
a lot of
agitation of minority agitation by minorities over domination and all that within any state. You look at Benue, for example, the Domas, you know, who constitute Zone C.
Yes.
For example, if that bill had been passed into law, they too will have had the opportunity to become governor. And it will have been like that too in other states. Look at the struggle in Kaduna, for example. Maybe too, they will have, the people of Southern Kaduna will have had an opportunity to have a shot at the governorship. So, but just because of the attempt
to deny Obasanjo
the thing, everything that was proposed by that August conference, we threw away. Nobody was ready to listen. And you know, it's a lot more difficult now to even achieve unanimity on those matters than that time.
Exactly.
Nigeria is much more divided.
Complex.
Much more divided.
Since the 2015 election.
Yes. So this is the thing. So our people must not, we must not always throw the baby out with the bathwater. At least there will be some redeeming features that we can take out of every struggle.
All right, moving on now. I think it was the former American President Benjamin Franklin that said that investment in education always pay the highest returns. Now, we gather that the federal government of Nigeria, through the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, has decided to approve 208 billion naira into the university system. This might be a far cry from what the academic staff, you know, of university of 1.1 trillion naira that they've demanded for pressing for to better the lot of public institutions, private tertiary institutions. Now, Julie, looking at 208 billion naira, when you see the number of universities, federal universities we have around, and the level of decadence and rot.
Infrastructure.
Yes. It's just like throwing a little drop of water into the ocean.
It's not significant enough, but in terms of the extent to which it will go, to the extent to which the gesture will go, I still think that is significant because the president made a promise. So if you commit yourself to academics that you are going to be paying so amounts to them, then you have to go ahead. All they want to see is that you are clearly going to fulfill your obligation. This thing that we are talking about, the agreement was reached in 2009. So government is a continuum. Any government that comes must ensure that it meets that obligation. Because whether we like it or not, our public tertiary institutions are in a state of decay. If you go to your school and you imagine how it used to be. I mean, you feel like crying. And it's not even secondary schools. Even secondary schools. I remember Sule Lamido telling me what happened the day he went to Barewa College. He burst into tears because he saw students hanging by the window.
To listen to lecture.
Listen to the instruction from teachers. Window. And during their time, even white people were teaching them. Things were rosy. And then the roofs too were partly blown off. The roofs, partly blown off, and he made up his mind that he was going to do something quickly. You know, a school that turned you to a human being, there's no way you will see a decaying infrastructure in that school and your blood will not boil. So the agitation of these lecturers is germane. It makes sense. All that needs to be done is for us to ensure that whatever money is released,
implemented
to remedy the situation, let us monitor, let us monitor the disbursement and the use of the money. Because we live in a corrupt country where corruption has become more or less like breathing in and breathing out. And people are so used to it.
Like our 37 states.
Yes. So we need to, the president must put machinery in motion to monitor it. And then what the vice president said sometime last year, I hold it dearly. He said that we must seek alternative means of funding tertiary education. Which means that if we are going
Government
to get...
funding can never be enough.
Yes, it will never be enough. They will never find enough money. So, because there are other things competing for the money. So if we are going to involve the big corporations in our country, the IOCs, the Dangotes, the $10 of this world, and give them tax holidays just so that they can help us fund those universities and turn them to real citadels of excellence and centers of research. So be it. I think that's what we should be looking forward to.
You got 208 billion naira.
That money is much, and it is not much. The reason is that we have over 100 federal universities, if I'm correct. And
no, I don't think so. not
okay.
We have over 100 universities. Not federal
but
university.
The federal university, because this money is meant for federal universities, isn't it? By the time you put it on a scale, I know there are preferences of in terms of what they need and all that. It is not much. But also, there must be monitoring. It must be emphasized that this money is not meant for university officials. It is not for vice chancellors to buy a vehicle that Dangote is not even riding, or Bill Gates, because I remember that recently, not too long ago, an online newspaper did an exhaustive story about a certain university that bought 78 million naira vehicle. 3 of it for the principal officers. 78 million naira each. What do you need that for? Is that to buy?
That's why
is that to buy reagents?
That's why people are opposed to autonomy.
Is that to buy reagents for laboratories or what? You know what that kind of a money can do. So it must be monitored. A newspaper also recently reported that in our premier university, if light goes off, the DK University and library becomes dark, hot, and no any reading or academic exercise can take place there. So all these are the places
that one is normal. Even
that is the place that must be faced. There must be. Look, this money must be poured into research. Now, do you know that people who are not even the technicians
people
are now
giving money for research,
and that's what I'm saying.
They go abroad, they don't come back.
Exactly. Yes. You know there are
they take third fund money,
yes,
and they go abroad,
yes,
and they don't return. They have no plan to return.
There are issues now that people are doing 24-hour solar and whatever light. Why is it that our universities can't do that? Why is it that the university...
And we have abundant sunshine.
You will get to the university and they will say that they've taken... There's no power. So you can't read, you can't do anything. There must be a way.
Look about you. What are we doing with sunlight?
Exactly. The university must be a place where some people will even prefer to leave the city where they are living and go and stay on campus because everything is working.
No.
But
that's the way it used to be now.
Exactly. But what do we have? We must take care. This money is small, as we said, but even as small as it is, how is it expended? That is the question we must ask. Because if you complain that the money you are giving is not enough, okay, the small one we've given to you, how did you spend it? The university community must not resist that. And the ASU in every university must make sure they put their vice chancellor or whoever is the accounting officer on their toes. This money should not be spent to buy...
It's alarming that when you check the world ranking of universities and you see the ranking of African university, not to even talk of Africa, even Nigeria university, even among Africa university.
No, but even you, as an individual,
so
let's look at it and see.
Because
people leave Nigeria now to go to Togo. To go to
that's the most scandalous one. To
Francophone countries to
that's
go.
The most scandalous one. Benin Republic down here. There is a particular university set up mainly for Nigerians.
And it's Nigerian teachers that they are using.
Yes, our lecturers.
So what is the
just
problem?
The environment.
I know a boy who used to
stability.
work for Dami, who went there to teach. He went there to teach English. He was my reporter. He went to the university in Benin Republic.
We earn more. There will be more stability.
Yes.
You see,
there won't be strike.
The standards have been going down consistently over the years, and we didn't do anything to address it.
And
successive governments, especially under the military, felt that the best thing they needed to do was to clobber the university system, because the university system was fond of breeding stubborn academics who abused them,
who are teaching and all that. What they were not paid to teach.
They were teaching what they were not paid
activists.
To teach. So they now decided to neglect the university system. It's the same way that we stopped funding the military because we felt that you know how someone described it, that their attention was regime survivor,
and
regime protection, and not the protection of the Nigerian people.
Yes.
You know, because they felt a large army in peacetime. I think it was IBB who even said a large army in peacetime, it was not necessary. And he systematically continued to reduce the capacity of the army. Today, we are paying for not having enough soldiers. Today, we are paying for not having enough equipment to tackle even an internal insurgency. You know? So this is the situation. The university system was left alone to decay. Today, we can't even compete against the big African universities like Makerere in Uganda and the rest of them. We can't even compete against them. Or the universities in South Africa. And it's clear to everyone, anyone who has the means would rather send his child to a school in Canada or everywhere else. People are leaving the country. I know a bank in Nigeria that a whole department, they had to close a whole department because the
majority of them had left.
More than 3/4 of them left for Canada about the same time. So it's that bad. And they are not just leaving, they are taking their children with them.
Of course.
And planning to bring other people. So this is what we are going through. Yeah. So if anyone does not admit that we have problems in our country, then that person is waging a war against the truth.
The U.S. government, they've even cancelled Dropbox for visa owner. You must go and appear because 187,000 Nigerians left with visiting visa last year. They did not come back. So everybody must go and appear.
Nobody.
Cancelled Dropbox.
Nigerians, I know Nigerians who are earning more than $1 million a month.
Who are ready?
Banks, yet they are running outside the country.
Nigeria is like a sinking ship.
Everybody one of them told me. He said, you said people earning 100,000. He said, if you have a major 1 million a month. If you have a major health challenge, you will know that it is not money.
It is,
So immediately he said that, I said, okay, I surrender.
Thank you so much, OLAYINKA OYEGBILE. Thank you for being part of this edition. And BKO, thank you for always being there. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangouts on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. God bless Nigeria. See you tomorrow.